Hello, live stream audience out there in the world. My name's Sam Teicher, and I am the co-founder of Vita, and we are a company that grows climate change resilient corals to restore dying reefs. So many of you may have heard the news this year. Great Barrier Reef has experienced mass mortality, severe bleaching from warming ocean temperatures caused by this year's El Nino. But this is actually an ongoing problem. We've seen more than 30% of the world's reefs die since the 1970s and are projected to lose 75% of reefs by mid-century. Now, this is obviously an ecological catastrophe, but it's also a socioeconomic one as well, because reefs support over 1 billion people around the world, 25% of marine life, and generate $30 billion a year through tourism, fisheries, and coastal protection. So what we do at Vita is we grow corals that can be installed into reefs to help bring them back to life and protect those benefits. Now, coral restoration is a practice that's been ongoing for the past 20 or 30 years, and it's been shown to revitalize reef health. I actually helped start a UN-funded coral farm while I was helping run an organization called Eli Africa in Mauritius. And it was amazing to work with local fishermen, students, plant these corals, and see the lagoon and the reef come back to life with corresponding increases in fish life, maintaining a tourism draw for the area, and helping preserve those benefits. But what was also clear is the current model for reef restoration has got several limitations. So to begin with, you've got these ocean-based farms that have to be set up and maintained at each restoration site. Only the fast-growing, branching coral species can be realistically grown, limiting critical species diversity. There's little that can be done to enhance coral resiliency to the things that are killing them, such as warming and acidifying oceans. And the grant funding model does not cut it when we're thinking about 75% of reefs dead by mid-century. So with Vita, we're setting up land-based farms, incorporating breakthrough methods to grow corals up to 50 times faster, which translates into months instead of decades, while enhancing their resiliency to climate change, and putting a business model on top of this, commercializing restoration, and selling that service to hotels, governments, private property owners, fishing associations, corporate sponsors, anyone that has a stake in reefs to create a financially sustainable system to scale up restoration. So we're using the microfragmenting method developed out of the Moat Marine Lab, where we can now grow bouldering massive corals that previously weren't able to be realistically grown, which helps from coastal protection to providing the baseline for habitats. Incorporating the assisted evolution methods out of the University of Hawaii, we can now make corals more resilient to those ocean warming and acidification threats. And with a single land-based coral farm, if it's the right size, we can now grow corals to supply an entire nation's reefs rather than having to set up individual ocean-based farms. So this year, we're going to be launching our pilot coral farm down in the Caribbean. Really excited to share that we hit our fundraising goal of $600,000 last month. So that's going to let us build and run this first farm for about 2 years. And we're right now selecting locations and are still fundraising a bit more to try and finance some research and development projects, expand our impact, and do more programming in a community-based approach with local communities that depend on these healthy reefs. A little bit more about myself. Like I mentioned, I helped start a UN-funded coral farm while I was working in Mauritius. I also worked on climate change adaptation policy at the White House and worked for the Global Island Partnership, which is a coalition of island nations advancing and catalyzing sustainable development and conservation. My co-founder, Gator, and that's really his name, has worked on international development projects in Peru, Brazil, and South Africa. Was a fellow for the World Wildlife Fund's Global Marine Program, and we met at the Yale School of Forestry and Environmental Studies, where we studied business and the environment. We're being advised by Dr. Ruth Gates, Dr. David Vaughn, two of the scientists who developed these breakthrough methods that we're incorporating, and are really excited to get out into the ocean, start planting corals, and work with the global community, from scientists to activists to policymakers, private sector leaders, and average people all around the world to help bring reefs back to life. And we hope you'll come down to the Caribbean, plant corals with us. And again, we're Vita, and thank you very much for your time.